very good morning to everyone. And today, I want to start with the confession. There's a dream that you have. Maybe it's been with you for years, and maybe it showed up recently. A business you want to start, a course you want to enroll in, a conversation you've been meaning to have, a skill you've been meaning to learn, something you want to write, build, try, or become. And every time you think about it, really think about it, something tightens in your chest. A quiet voice says, what if I try and it doesn't work? What will people think? What if I am not good enough? So you wait for the right time, for more confidence, for when kids are older, or the loan is paid, or the stars aligned. Just so. The right time, by the way, has a terrible habit of never arriving. So, what is this invisible thing that quietly steals more dreams than any actual failure ever has? Failure is not a wall, it's a feedback. So, today we are going to talk about moving from fear of failure to fearlessness. And here's something that will quietly blow your mind. Most people are not stopped by failure, they are stopped by the imagination of failure, by a future they haven't lived yet, by a rejection that hasn't happened, and by a judgment that exists only in their own head. Think about it. How many things you have not tried because you were afraid of what might go wrong? And now think, how many of those things would have actually been that bad if they had gone wrong? We are, as a species, absolutely terrible at predicting how bad will actually feel. We catastrophize. We imagine the worst, and then we sit still, safe, comfortable, and quietly unfulfilled. So fear of failure stops more dreams than failure itself. Let that sit for a moment. Let me tell you about Ananya. She works in a marketing team in Mumbai, sharp, observant, full of ideas. But in every team meeting, she stays on mute. Not literally. Well, sometimes literally also, but mostly in her head. She has thoughts, she has solutions, but just before she speaks, the voice arrives. What if it sounds stupid? What if the senior team thinks I am overstepping? What if I get it wrong? So she waits. And while she waits, a less prepared colleague says the exact thing she was going to say and gets the credit. And one day, her manager pulls her aside, not to reprimand her, but to say, Ananya, I can see you thinking. I need you to start speaking. And that one sentence changed everything. She started sharing her ideas imperfectly, nervously, sometimes stumbling. And within months, she was the person the team turned to for strategy sessions. And she didn't wait for the fear to go away. She spoke anyway. And the fear slowly, quietly lost its grip. Now meet Nalini. She's a homemaker in Coimbatore. Warm, intelligent, an absolute wizard in the kitchen. For years, her family and neighbors had been telling her, Nalini, you should teach cooking classes, you should sell those pickles, you should start something. But as it's always, Nalini had a question. that stopped her cold every single time. What if nobody comes? What if people laugh? I've never run a business. What if I fall in or fail in front of everyone who believes in me? So she didn't start. For 3 years, she just didn't start. And then her daughter, 13 years old, looked at her one evening and said, Amma, you always tell me not to be scared of trying. Why are you scared? Children have this magnificent and terrifying ability to say exactly the right thing at exactly the right moment. And Nalini started with one online class. 8 people joined. 2 of them became regular students. One of them referred 10 more. And today, she runs weekend batches, ships homemade products across Tamil Nadu. The failure she feared, it never came. And even when small things did go wrong, a class with tech issues, a batch of pickle that didn't sit right, she treated it as if what it was data, feedback, a lesson in a jar. So, gentlemen, this one is for you. With full respect and affection, meet Arjun. He's been in the same job for 6 years, not because he loves it, he doesn't particularly, but because updating his resume and actually applying somewhere new means risking rejection. And rejection for Arjun is not just a no in an inbox in his mind. It is a verdict on his entire worth as a professional, as a man, as a human being. So the resume sits in a folder called draft. Do later. The folder has been there for 2 years. And here's what nobody tells Arjun. What I want to tell you. Rejection is not a reflection of who you are. It is information about fit. That's all. A company that doesn't select you is not saying you're not good enough. It's saying you're not the right match for that particular role at that particular time. That's it. Nothing more. And that information, however uncomfortable, is infinitely more useful than 2 years of sitting idle. And here's the reframe I want to offer you. And I want you to actually try it, not just nod at it. Every time something doesn't go the way you plan, a pitch that didn't land, a recipe that flopped, a conversation that went sideways, an exam result that stung, instead of asking, why did I fail? Ask this. What is this trying to teach me? Yes, let me repeat. What is this trying to teach me? Thomas Edison didn't fail 10,000 times. He found 10,000 ways that didn't work and treated each one as a narrowing of the path to the one way that did. Every expert alive was once a beginner who kept going past the embarrassing part. Every confident person you admire was once someone who acted despite feeling terrified. See, action reduces fear faster than any amount of thinking ever will. The only way out is through. So, all right, this is the moment that matters most in today's session. Everything else was just a warm up. So, I want you to take out your phone or even a piece of paper and do this right now. Please. Step one, write down one thing you have been avoiding because of fear of failure. Yes, make a note of it. Please write it down, even if not in a complete sentence, just a phrase for you to understand. Write down one thing you have been avoiding because of fear of failure, not the safe version, the real one, the thing that has been living like rent free in the back of your mind. And then step two, write down the smallest possible step you could take to take it forward today. The smallest possible step you could take towards it today. Not the whole plan, not the grand strategy, the tiniest step. For example, send that one email you have been drafting for weeks, or make that one phone call you have been postponing, or register for that course. Just the registration. Or let's say saying the thing in the meeting you have been holding back. Not tomorrow, not after lunch, today, before this day ends. Because the version of you that starts, however imperfectly, is already ahead of the version that keeps waiting. So I want to leave you with this, something I believe with my whole heart. Fearlessness is not the absence of fear. Fearlessness is being afraid and moving forward anyway. It's looking at the worst case scenario and realizing I would survive that. I would learn from that. I would grow because of that. The people you admire in the world, the ones who seem so sure, so bold, so unshakable, they feel the fear too. Every single of them. The difference is they stopped waiting for it to disappear before they began. See, courage is not a feeling, it's a decision. A ship in the harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. You are not built for the harbor, you are built for the open sea, the uncertainty, the waves, the discovery, and yes, sometimes the storm. And here's the most beautiful truth of all, the storm will not break you, it will reveal you. So, before tonight, write the one thing you're avoiding, take the smallest possible step towards it, not because the fear is gone, but because you are bigger than your fear. So, from fear of failure to fearlessness, one small, brave step at a time. And then, with that thought, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.